Hello, everybody. Today's C Squared episode was actually recorded a month ago at the beginning of May. I put off uploading it because I wanted to work on the Final Fantasy VII Remake video, so some of the things we talk about may be a little dated, and there are going to be things that hadn't happened yet, which is why we probably never covered them. But, yeah, this one's a late one. I finally uploaded it. Enjoy. And aloha, everybody. It is I, the Great Clement, with my co-host. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. It's Caro again, and welcome to another episode of the best podcast ever, I think. C Squared.
That's high praise indeed, Caro. High praise. Do you have an ego?
Not as much as you, apparently, Great Clement, but okay.
I earned that nickname in high school, goddammit, because I was great at video games and great at bowling, and they gave it to me. I didn't give it to myself. My friends gave it to me.
But you're still using it, so...
Well, yeah, I earned it. We just came back from well, you're still in Philadelphia, but I just came back from a very, very fantastic trip down to the United States because we attended a wedding recently.
We did. I'm sure y'all know Elliot and Sabrina, formerly of SGB, but they got married, and it was fantastic. Congratulations to them.
SGB being the Super Gaming Brothers, which is a Let's Play channel that is an offshoot of Some Call Me Johnny. Elliot is the brother of Some Call Me Johnny. You're probably familiar with these YouTubers if you're following me, and if you're not familiar with these YouTubers, subscribe! Come on, subscribe to Some Call Me Johnny. He's way more popular and better than I am.
And if you're looking for more Elliot and Sabrina content, you can follow them on Twitch at Bound by Games. And they also have their own separate Twitters. They are lovely people. I've been friends with them for years, and, their wedding was just amazing, and such a celebration of their love, as some people would say.
Love. Oh. Yeah, it actually occurs to me, I had to think about, when I first was aware of John and Elliot. Because, the first time we ever collaborated, me and John, was with Brain Scratch and the Sonic 06 playthrough. I might have talked about this in a video before, I'm not really sure, but one day I was making my Sonic Let's Plays, my Sonic retrospective, and I got a DM on YouTube, because back in the day, back in the early 2010s, YouTube had instant messaging and DMs you could get from other YouTubers, and they've since removed that feature, so that's fun.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Lewis who contacted me through Brain Scratch and asked me if I wanted to join them on a Sonic 06 commentary, because I did specify once in a playthrough that I was not going to do a Let's Play of Sonic 06, that it was going to be a review. And I looked over their videos, and they seemed pretty cool. I liked the conversations they were doing. I think the first playthrough I caught of theirs was Turtles in Time, the reboot. The one that was released on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I believe they had, not Big Al, who was it?
Spax?
That's it, that's the one.
A name I haven't heard in a long time.
No, that's a name I've not heard in a long, long time.
It is BSC lore.
But, I got acquainted with Johnny through Brain Scratch, and I got acquainted with SGB through him, and yeah, I've had everyone as friends on Twitter for a very, very long time, but I live in Canada, so I've never been able to interact with them physically, to meet them face to face, because I've always been in a different country, and every time they went to Too Many Games or some kind of convention, some kind of event, I wasn't there. I was just chilling in the cold wilderness of Canada because, that's just how I roll.
just watching us from afar on Twitter, inside joking about Don Wilson, the owner of Iowa's largest wildlife preserve.
I still don't know what's up with those weird stickers of me, that one event you guys had.
Shout out to my friend Ross for making those stickers.
I still don't know what's up with that. I just know I was looking at pictures and there's stickers of my face everywhere. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yes. The point being is that every Too Many Games or MomoCon or whatever place we meet up with is a great time, and I feel like that Clement is obviously like a really big part of our friend group, and we had fun, but it always kind of felt like a hole was there, that he should be there, you know, to partake in our memes.
Aw, shucks.
It's true. I remember, like, what was it? TMG 2016, I think. It was the first year I went to TMG. Like, Clement commented on, like, our timeline being weird, and then I commented on it, and me and Clement went back and forth on the timeline for a while. And I'm just spouting all of these inside jokes we had at the con, and Clement's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you had to be there. You had to be here.
Apparently. But this year, you know, I knew Elliot and Sabrina were getting married, and I figured, you know what, this has to be the time. This has to be the moment. If there's any event I gotta show up for, it's, of course, the wedding. And so this is actually my first trip to the United States. I have traveled outside the country before, and technically I have seen America back in the early days when I went on a field trip to Niagara Falls. And I could see America from Niagara Falls. But I never actually visited the country until last week. Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? That's how sheltered I am. That's how much I suck.
Oh. Well, to be fair, we have also been living in a global pandemic in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, which I think we talked about this in a podcast. I was supposed to go to TMG in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to visit America 2 years ago, but, you know, that whole COVID thing, I didn't want to risk dying, so we didn't have vaccines yet, so, you know.
But, like, you couldn't even get in the country anyway, because Canada and America had that border closed until, like, August of 2021.
That's true, That's true. And yeah, it was great. We got to meet up with a whole bunch of people, a lot of our friends, Joey, Spider, Jack. Gareth was there.
Yes, oh my gosh. It had been forever since I'd seen Gareth. I think the last time I saw Gareth was when I went with FTCR and John to Sega Sonic Fan Jam back in 2018. So it'd been at least 3 years since I'd seen him, and oh my gosh, I really loved him there. I love his energy. He's a great guy. He's a really great guy. Like,
yeah.
It's awesome.
He was smart. He got out of social media and the internet altogether. Mm-hmm. he doesn't make YouTube videos anymore. He's not on Twitter or anything. So, like, he knew how to get out. He knew to get away from this awful, awful internet that is plaguing our minds and giving us all anxiety and depression. And it was surreal. I hadn't heard his voice in such a long time, and still keeps up to date with all the Sonic stuff. He watched Sonic 2, and he saw the Sonic Origins trailer and whatnot, and he's still the life of the party. Oh my god.
He listens to our podcast.
Oh god, really?
Yeah.
Gareth, what's wrong with you? Don't listen to this. I mean, everyone else should, but not you.
But, like, yes, seconded to life of the party, because, oh my gosh, like, Friday night, which is when, okay, so the wedding was in New York, and we left Philadelphia on Friday afternoon, and then we bussed up, and then we were staying at, like, this place, you know, and we met up with Gareth and everyone, like, at TGI Friday, so we went out to dinner first, and then we went back to Gareth's hotel room, and we kind of had, like, an impromptu bachelor party for Elliot.
There is a clip of that bachelor party where Gareth is wondering why Johnny wasn't there.
It is true. Why weren't you there, John?
What the hell, John?
We had YouTube poops, drinks. There was wrestling on the TV. because I didn't want to miss Rampage.
God, we're at a bachelor party and Karo's still watching AEW. Good lord.
Look, it's Adam Cole versus Tomohiro Ishii. I have to watch it. It's the Forbidden Door.
And what fortuitous timing. The week that we go to a wedding, they just so happen to have an AEW show in Philadelphia as well.
I know. Oh my gosh.
So we ended up going to wrestling on Wednesday.
I don't go to every AEW show. I save money, but like when I can afford it and if it's feasible enough, then I try to go to like any shows that I can get to. So I'm going to Double or Nothing at the end of this month, and I'm also going to Forbidden Door. I'm only off a trip for a while after that because, oh my gosh, I did not expect Forbidden Door to be announced this quickly. But I digress. Anyway, so I wanted to take Clement to a show for a while. But the problem is, because of COVID and everything, I wasn't sure when AEW was going to go to Toronto or Canada or whatever. So coincidentally, and thank you RNG gods, because I will never have this much good luck ever again, the week he happened to be visiting was the same week AEW was coming to Philly. So, yeah, why not? Let's go to AEW. It's first experience.
Hell yeah. And it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Like, our seats were looking directly in front of the ring and the Titantron.
Oh, the seats were perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I was worried we're going to be in the nosebleeds or just like
no.
at the top row or something. And no, we got the perfect seating arrangement where we're over one of the openings where like Jon Moxley comes out for his entrance and stuff.
Yes.
And we could see the ring perfectly. Like there was no one really in front of us other than like one couple. You know, one couple was in front of us and everything else was just like below us. So we had a perfect view of the ring. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And there were like a ton of great matches, like Dax and Cash faced off against each other, which has never happened before, and holy shit, that match was amazing.
Yeah. It's good to see like a fucking Bret Hart, Owen Hart caliber match to an event you actually go to, you know. That was amazing. I got to see Eddie Kingston do a promo and it was amazing, and that was also incredible.
Yes.
Because like when you're watching the show live, you don't get like the announcers or whatever, so sometimes the promos are the only kind of voiced things you get, and Eddie Kingston fucking nailed it. Oh my god. That man spits fire on the mic.
Mm-hmm. The thing I liked about AEW live shows, at least, is even though you're not hearing like the in-ring commentary, Justin Roberts will come out and he'll like kind of banter with the crowd in between commercial breaks or in between segments and stuff, and at least kept the vibe of the show going. Cause I'll tell you from going to WWE shows that like it feels very commercialized and very what's the word? Manufactured.
Yeah.
Where like it's obvious when the show goes into commercial break because the action kind of slows down. Maybe one of the wrestlers just kind of gets out of the ring and like kind of walks around. And like it feels like a lot of the action is just stop and go a lot of times. What I like about AEW in particular is that regardless of commercial breaks, there's always something going on. Even if I couldn't hear like Excalibur or Jim Ross, there was at least always someone talking or something happening in the ring that kept everyone going.
Yeah, yeah. I was also pleasantly surprised by how quickly it breezed through, because like we sat through, 3 or 4 hours of wrestling, because we were there with Dark Elevation, we were there with Dynamite, we were there with Rampage, so we had a lot of show, and it went by pretty quickly. It didn't feel like it dragged at all. Like, I've been to baseball games, I've been to sporting events, like I've seen the Seattle Mariners take on the Toronto Blue Jays, and sometimes you're just like, oh my god, we're only on the 4th inning? Oh, Jesus. But wrestling, that just went by. Like, I was just so invested in the matches, and there's no commercial breaks, and you just get so invested in what's going on, and it's just like, yeah, that was a quick 3-4 hours. I was really like, oh, it's over? We have to go now? Ah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I'm so happy you loved it, because, like, this was, like, your first major wrestling show.
Yeah.
If we're talking, like, just WWE, AEW, like, one of the major promotions.
Once again, I am a sheltered Canadian boy. And I've only been to one wrestling event, and that was in my hometown. And it wasn't like a WWE, it wasn't an AEW. It was like one of those indie, don't even know the promotion name of it. I just know that Rhino was there, and Christian was there, and a lot of unknowns were there. I think AJ Styles was there, but he wasn't popular at the time, because this was like the mid 2000s, early 2000s. So I wasn't even really aware of who AJ Styles was.
Yeah.
But he was there, and I didn't even absorb the gravity of that because he was a nobody at the time. But that was fun. I got to see Rhino gore someone, and then I never saw wrestling in person ever again until this month, until I came to Philadelphia. So yeah,
I'm telling you, I don't know when, but I am bringing you to a pay-per-view because you need to be in the audience for a pay-per-view. It is unlike anything I have ever experienced. Like, I still think All Out 2021 is still the best crowd I've ever sat in. Well, the way Forbidden Door sold out in like half an hour a couple days ago, that might beat it. But I gotta bring you to a show like that. Like, it has to happen.
Okay. The dream is to eventually get to WrestleMania.
Yes, we need to. I'll tell you, if they bring WrestleMania to Canada, we're going. 100%.
Hell yeah. If WrestleMania is in Toronto, fucking I'll be there. For sure. But yeah, the wrestling was the end of the trip. We met a lot of people. I don't want to exclude anybody, but I got to meet Trav, that Trav guy. I got to meet Mr. GVG. I got to meet Derek Bittner and Amy. I got to meet so many people. And we all met up in New York for the wedding. And everyone was all dressed up, and everyone was... I always liked Stefan, Joey, Jack, and all them, because they felt like they were part of the Reservoir Dogs or something.
Knowing the film buff Stefan is, yeah. I mean, they literally tweeted Reservoir Dogs.
I was in my head. I was just listening to like Little Green Bag anytime they walked around anywhere.
And then like, the reception itself was really nice. We were all dancing, and I made Clement dance.
Yeah, we danced to Aerosmith's
Don't wanna miss a thing.
'Cause even when I dream of you,
the sweetest thing we'll never do. 'Cause I miss you. I'm doing my best Steven Tyler impression.
Who, by the way, is cousin to Tommy Tallarico, believe it or not.
Oh shit, really?
They're related.
Oh my
Tommy
god.
brags about that every chance he could in an Electric Playground.
Oh my gosh, then clearly you need to show me more Electric Playground. That's crazy.
There's a lot of old episodes uploaded on YouTube. I can do that, no problem. But
yes.
Speaking of music, I mean, fantastic. We go to Elliot and Sabrina's wedding, and the DJ happens to play the best song you could play at a wedding. And they played Live and Learn from Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh my gosh. I was there when they were planning this. So like I came back from the bar, and then I see Joey, Stefan, Jack, and a couple other people go up to the DJ, and I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, we're requesting Live and Learn. I'm like, oh my god, you didn't. Oh my gosh. These absolute mad lads did it.
Live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow.
And there's video of this on not on YouTube, on Twitter. Yeah.
It's all on my page if you're following me, so you've probably already seen it. But yeah, that's when you know a wedding kicks ass, when we're singing along to Sonic music. But it was a lovely reception, and I had a good time. We had a fantastic time.
We had such a great time.
I wish Elliot and Sabrina all the best for their future life together.
Their marriage certificate came in, so they are absolutely, officially married.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To Elliot and Sabrina, cancel.
She has been cancelled.
Sabrina has been canceled. Hell yeah.
It's like I said on Twitter, it's like TMG without the convention. Like, all that wedding, the reception was just take TMG away, Clement, and that was literally the convention weekend. It was literally the weekend.
Yeah.
We've said that, like, we don't go to TMG or conventions in general anymore for the convention itself. It's more so, to be with friends and stuff. Like, I was gonna go to TMG this year, but, Forbidden Door. I've referenced Forbidden Door a few times. Forbidden Door is the joint AEW New Japan pay-per-view that's happening, and people have been waiting for this show for years. So Forbidden Door is happening the Sunday of TMG. So unfortunately, I'm not going, but I'm sure it'll be a good time. If you are going.
Yeah. My only regret about the wedding was that I didn't spend enough time with Johnny. I don't know if he's listening to this or whatever, but I met up with him once. We took a photo together. And then he saw me again when he had to leave because he left a little bit earlier than the rest of us. And I was a little bummed by that. I'm not blaming him or anything. I just felt like, we should have spent so much more time together. Damn it. But I'll be back. I'll be back in America at some point. I don't know if it's next year or the year after that. But we will meet again, John. That I vow. And then, I don't know. You could punch me in the face.
You haven't seen the last of me, Hedgehog.
You'll pay for this!
Wait a minute. Did you leave your shades?
Did I leave my shades? I don't know. I haven't checked.
Cause keep this rolling. Keep the recording rolling. I think those are your shades.
Are they in your room?
Yes, I just noticed them. I don't know whose these are. Are these yours? I don't.
If they were on the table with the TV,
they are.
That's probably mine. Yeah.
Oh my god! You left your shades on the table.
Son of a bitch.
Oh no.
Son of a bitch.
I need to get these back to you. Oh my gosh.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm gonna take a picture of this and send this to you right now. Man, those were sitting on my table for a week. How did I not notice?
How did I not notice?
I don't know.
I was supposed to be packing things in my pack sack, and I didn't notice my sunglasses.
Okay, look. At least you didn't forget your passport or your documents. I told Clement before he left on the trip, he's like, you could forget anything. Like, you could forget your towel or your, I don't know, your shampoo or your socks or whatever. Those are easily replaceable when we get to Philly. As long as you have your passport, your wallet, and your documents, you're set. That is all you need to board the plane.
Yeah, I think if I forgot my passport, I wouldn't be leaving America. But, you know. But yeah, Kira, anything else from that week that you're interested in talking about, or?
You showed me movies.
I did show you a lot of movies. I showed you Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
Because apparently you've avoided Jim Carrey's best movie in the last 25 years.
Hey, look. Okay, I didn't say this at the time, but I may have seen a flash of Dumb and Dumber, like on Cartoon Network, like 10 years ago.
Cartoon Network?
It's weird because Cartoon Network used to air like some live action movies on occasion, and like even you know the scene where he like runs up the ramp because he's trying to catch the plane.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Don't worry about me," and he flashes his license and he's like, "I'm a chauffeur driver," or whatever he says. I remember seeing that scene, and I couldn't exactly remember what movie it was from. I was flipping through the channels and I was watching a bit of that. So that chase scene looked familiar to me, and now I know it's from Dumb and Dumber.
But why was it on Cartoon Network?
I don't know. The way that movie was... I mean, we watched the uncut version, but, like, I don't know how they could edit that for Cartoon Network, honestly.
It's not a cartoon!
I haven't explained to you the time in, like, the late 2000s that Cartoon Network just decided to, like, give the shaft to, like, their cartoons and go into live-action programming. That was a dark time. That is a very dark time.
That's just false advertising. What the hell?
It is. It's awful.
I don't want to see a live action thing. I want to see a cartoon.
Yeah, so like, in conjunction with that temporary change, they're like, hey, why don't we air more live action movies? And I guess one of the ones they aired was Dumb and Dumber. But having said that, Dumb and Dumber was very funny.
Oh, it was amazing. I still think it's Jim Carrey's best movie. I think it's like, it's about dumb characters and it's about dumb things, but it's like so smartly written.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so perfect how every line, every scene is just such a good play on words and such a good, like, astute observation of what these characters would be saying, you know?
Yeah.
My favorite joke is, like, they finally get to Aspen trying to find Mary Swanson. And Jim Carrey's in love with Mary Swanson. He is head over heels in love with her. He wants to spend the rest of his life with her, and he doesn't even know her final name. He just knows her name is Mary, even though she said it. You know, he knew her last name. And so he's trying to think of it, and he's like, Swami Sims. And then Harry suggests, like, oh, it's probably on the briefcase. And he looks at it. Oh, Samsonite. I was way off.
Dang.
That is such a good joke.
Mm-hmm. I was way off.
I was way off. It's just, I could watch that movie a million times. It never stops being funny.
Poor Birdie.
His head fell off.
And then they fucking give the bird to the blind kid.
Pretty bird. Polly, want a cracker?
It's so fucked up, but I love stuff like that. My sense of humor can be very dark sometimes.
Oh, I love that movie. Love it. You're such a big Kenny Omega mark, and you haven't seen the first two Terminator movies, so I brought the Terminator movies as well.
Terminator was very fun. Very fun movie, 80s as fuck. I couldn't get over the full body, like, motions.
Oh, at the end when the Terminator's chasing them?
Cause the close shots of the Terminator, that's fine. Like, he moves normal. But then when you peer back, it's all, like, stilted and clay motioned, and I'm like, what? This is kind of uncanny territory, if I'm gonna be honest.
We kind of had two movies recently that did this, because I also showed you Army of Darkness not too long ago. The Sam Raimi movie that's a sequel to the Evil Dead 1 and 2. And it's like, yeah, the Terminator has like real props, real parts when you're just looking at it from its torso up. When it's just its torso up, they made a model, you know, there's a face, there's a machine opening the doors and moving its arms and whatnot. But anytime you have to do a full body shot, it's like, well, it was the mid-80s. You can't puppeteer a thing like that without needing to do some kind of fancy tricks, so they just do stop motion animation with a toy. And so it's clearly running at like lower frames than the other people.
Yeah.
And it looks really weird, and it's kind of blurry and out of focus compared to like the typical action scenes.
Like, if you brought that into real life, like in front of my own eyes, I'd be terrified, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm like,
it is uncanny. It is like creepy in that way.
Yeah.
But the thing I thought that was really dated with Terminator is like, there's that moment where he just failed to kill Sarah Connor. They're in the police station, so Terminator goes into a hotel room, and he goes to like fix his eye because his eye is a little bit damaged.
Oh, this. Yeah.
And he has to cut out his eye, and he doesn't feel it because he's a robot, but whatever. But the thing is, first you see Arnold Schwarzenegger like putting a scalpel or scissors or something to his eye, and then it cuts to like this weird clay mask, this weird clearly not a human being, clearly it's a prop, clearly it's fake as hell. As he's taking out his own eyeball, it's like, who the hell replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger with this fucking plastic model? What the hell? And then he puts his sunglasses on, and then they jump cut, and it's just Arnold Schwarzenegger again. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I love the story of the Terminator. I think it's really cool. I had a great time with the movie, and I thought it was like a fine film already.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 just takes that and multiplies it by 10.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is so amazing. I love Terminator 2 so much.
Question.
Mhm.
Did you know going into Terminator 2 that, well, actually, did you know going into the first and second movie that the Terminator was the villain of the first one, but he was the hero of the second?
No.
Did you always think he was a hero, or did you always think he was a villain? How blind were you when it came to Terminator?
I always thought he was a hero.
Yeah.
Which is why with Terminator 1, I'm like, wait, he's the villain? Yes? Oh, interesting. I always figured that, like, he was a hero, because, like, I feel like that's what a lot of marketing, I guess, nowadays does. But
No, for sure.
that was my assumption.
My first exposure to Terminator was Terminator 2, and it was a lot of the posters and even like the video games and the pinball machine and stuff, because my mom was a bartender at this place that had a Terminator pinball machine with Arnold Schwarzenegger up front on the pinball machine. So like I would always look at that and just think like, well, he's the hero, he's the Terminator. And I'd see him like, you see clips of part 2 and he's always protecting John Connor, protecting the little boy. So I assumed, yeah, when I go back to see the first movie at long last, like, I'm going to watch the first movie. He's going to be the hero. I wonder who the bad guy is. And then you watch it, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is just killing tons of innocent people. You're like, wait a minute. I thought he was the hero. What the hell's he doing? Oh, God, he just murdered that woman. Oh, Jesus. Hey, you got to pay for that. Wrong. But yeah, Terminator 2 is great because it does twist it on its head that like, hey, the villain of the first movie is now the hero who has to protect John Connor, who's been reprogrammed. The new villain is highly advanced, the T-1000 liquid metal. You can just like transform into anyone he wants. And also the character development of Sarah Connor is wild.
Oh, it's fantastic. I loved her even more in the second film.
Oh, yeah. It's like she's just like a waitress, you know? She's a waitress who's just trying to like go to a dance club and just watch a movie, and she's just a normal woman in the original movie. But then in part 2, she is hardened as fuck. Like she has been training her son to fight in this future war that she knows he's going to be the savior of one day. And she's in a mental institution because everyone thinks she's crazy. And she's fucking working out every time you see her. She's got big muscles.
She's fucking hardcore. It's great.
God. It's amazing.
It's like you're so jaded, but I get why you're jaded.
Yeah. Linda Hamilton is just an icon in Terminator 2. Like, holy fuck. Action heroine. Just like, oh, she's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love like the little humor that they do this time around. It's not like overdone humor. It's just like they're playing with the idea that now the Terminator's a good guy. And so John Connor's just like asking questions and talking to him in a way that like, at first he's like having a fight with Terminator because Terminator won't save his mom, and it attracts the attention of these two guys. And then he realizes that the Terminator has to listen to everything that John Connor says because that's what he's programmed to do. So he actually lets him go when he tells him to. But then the guys start getting pissed off that like, oh, this kid screamed for help and there was nothing wrong. It's oh, fuck you, kid. And John Connor convinces the Terminator to pick up the guy by his head. But then when the other guy starts resisting, Terminator has to pull him off because he's being interfered with. And he pulls out his gun and he tries to shoot him and kill him.
Yeah.
And so John Connor's just like, you can't just go around killing everybody. And he goes, why? What do you mean, why? You can't. Why? Just trust me. You can't. Actually, I like the first line. You were going to kill that guy. Of course, I'm a Terminator. That's what I'm programmed to do. That's what I'm built to do. But then he convinces the Terminator never to kill ever again for the rest of the movie. And there's this great moment where they're coming up to the mental hospital. And there's a security guard there. And he just immediately pulls out his gun and shoots him in the kneecaps.
Yeah.
The guy's just screaming in agony. And Terminator just goes, he'll live.
Exactly. I mean, he'll live. He just doesn't have a knee anymore. But he's living. You didn't kill him.
He's just in excruciating pain. And he'll be feeling that pain for weeks, if not months.
He's just doing what you told him to do. He didn't kill.
He didn't kill that guy. But just on a, like, philosophical, moral, storytelling perspective, I just think it's interesting that it asks deeper questions about, like, what can a machine be more human than human? Because it has a learning computer, and it's just a more interesting movie because they're actually the dialogue scenes are they just go places that the first one didn't really. Because the first one's more of a horror movie,
yeah,
and the second one is kind of more cerebral, you know.
Yeah, I definitely felt that.
It's a classic. Terminator 2 is one of the greatest movies of the 90s, and it's like you said. The first one is so 80s, it's like painful. It's like, it's just, that's the 80s, so 80s. But when you watch Terminator 2, that's the 90s, so 90s. You can't think of any more 90s than that. Like, even the way John Connor's clothes are and the fact that he plays, like, Sega games at the arcade and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, this is so 90s, it's crazy.
His fucking hair, I'm like, yeah, that's the 90s guy cut. I don't know if that has, like, a formal name, but you know it when you see it.
Yeah. His friends wearing denim.
Yeah. I think the Terminator 2 is, like, one of the best examples of, like, how a sequel can be much better than the original. Because, like,
yeah,
there's some pieces of media that can do that, but I think the Terminator 2, at least before I watched the film, everyone always pointed to that as that being, like, the pinnacle of, like, hey, you can make a sequel much better than the first film or book or movie or whatever of what you're making.
And especially with this series, especially with Terminator as a proud example of how sequels can be worse, because, like, I personally did not recommend that you should watch Terminator 3 or Terminator Salvation or Terminator Genesis or Terminator Dark Fate, because to me, all of them are horrible sequels that don't capture any of the magic of the first two movies at all.
Right. Clint was telling me about the plot summary of Terminator Genesis, and I'm like, what? No, this is garbage. Like, you're literally taking the first film, and then you're completely retconning whatever. And then there's, like, a T-1000 and a 2. Like, I forget what he told you, but it's, like, so much fluff that I'm like, is this really necessary? Is this really how you want to continue the film?
It's like a fucking weird remix where they're just like, hey, we're gonna do the first movie again, except this time Sarah Connor is already the action star because she's been trained by the previous Terminator who found her as a child, and now the T-1000's here. The T-1000 is also here to try and kill Kyle Reese in 1984, even though he's supposed to be in 1991. And like, now the original Terminator gets killed by this new Terminator who's much older because Arnold Schwarzenegger has aged. I haven't even told you the stupid twist with John Connor in that movie, which is just like, ugh.
What's the twist?
So I guess John Connor gets captured by Skynet and he gets turned into a Terminator.
Oh my god, no, I don't want to watch this movie. That's garbage. That is garbage. Throw it in the dumpster now. I don't want to watch any other Terminator movies.
And the other thing I also kind of briefly mentioned was about Dark Fate, which is the newest one that came out. A lot of people were super pissed at that movie because in the first... And again, do you care about spoilers? Does anyone in the podcast care about spoilers for Dark Fate? The first 5-10 minutes of Dark Fate. Click off the video now. But Terminator Dark Fate was supposed to be a sequel that ignored everything past 2. It ignores 3, it ignores Salvation, it ignores Genesis, and just acts like the first 2 movies are the only movies that happened. So what do in the first 5 minutes of Dark Fate? They digitally CG age Edward Furlong, who is John Connor in part 2, and they de-age Linda Hamilton, and they're just at a beach resort relaxing and enjoying their lives now that they've prevented Judgment Day. And then fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger pops out of nowhere and just fucking shoots John Connor with a shotgun. And kills him. John Connor is killed in the first 5 minutes of Dark Fate.
I'd walk out the movie theater. I'd walk out the movie theater. If I paid $20 for that, and that's how you start the movie? No.
Like, I know that the directors are probably like, oh, we subverted your expectations. We took a bold direction. We decided to really shake it up. But it's like, dude, do you know how many people have so many, like, nostalgic memories of the second movie? And they love that movie, and they must have seen it a million times. And now you got this scene where fucking Terminator just, like, blows Edward Furlong away. And it's just like, oh, part 2 didn't matter. Because guess what? The machines still rise up, and they kill John Connor anyway. Fuck it. That was all. What a waste of time part 2 was. God.
It's nasty, I say. Nasty.
Yeah. Nasty. But yeah, that's Terminator. We talked a lot about Terminator. I didn't expect
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize.
We get carried away. I can't help it. I also showed you another sequel to a movie I showed you earlier, which was The Addams Family Values.
Yes.
The Addams Family is like one of my favorite 90s movies. It's like one of my favorite sitcom turned into a movie kind of films. I love the original movie so much. I just love that weird macabre humor where everything is just so like ridiculous. Like no one would actually act like this, no one would actually talk like this, but it's just the wordplay and the way they always respond to things just always cracks me up. I don't know.
Yeah, it's great. Like, Morticia is like the bitch. She's that bitch. Because she goes into labor, like, in the beginning of the movie, and she don't feel any pain, and I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. You are that bitch.
I think the doctors actually ask her if they want her to, like, relieve the pain, and she goes, no thanks. But Gomez and Morticia have the greatest on-screen romance of any movie you will ever see.
I know. It's so, like, it's goals. I love them. I love the love that they have.
Gomez and Morticia are life goals. They are relationship goals. Like, if your relationship is exactly like Gomez and Morticia, you made it. You succeeded at life. You are living on cloud 9. I mean, come on.
I think, like, I saw on Twitter once that, like, I can't remember if it was for the first movie or Values, but the script specifically says that, like, they're horny for each other and all they want to do is fuck each other.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. They're like, look, they are madly in love each other to the point where they could drop everything and just fuck each other. Like, that is their love. They are madly and deeply in love with each other.
It comes off on screen. I agree.
Yes.
My favorite gag in part 1, the original movie, is the kids all have to have like these little plays. They're all like doing plays for school. And of course the Addams Family are fucking weirdos. So all the other families are doing like sunflower, like happy dances, and all the other families are enjoying it, except for the Addams Family, who seem bored and like horribly pained to be watching this like really happy play. They're just like, oh god.
Yeah.
Dancing sunflowers. Oh, Jesus Christ. But then Pugsley and Wednesday get up there and they're doing a sword fight, and Fester has taught them how to make props with constant bloodstream. So you got Pugsley cut off Wednesday's arm. Wednesday slashes at Pugsley. Pugsley slashes back at her, cuts her throat open.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, this is a movie for, like, all audiences. This is not, like, rated R. It's not a rated R, hard R film. This is for, like, PG. You can take your kids to this. And there's a scene where Wednesday gets her arm and her throat slit while she bleeds out.
Yeah.
On the floor. And she bleeds so much blood that it sprays the entire audience in blood and covers them in red. And then when Wednesday dies, the Addams Family stand up and they go, "Bravo!
Fuck,
Bravo!"
I give my kid a standing ovation for that too.
I love the Addams Family. I love that movie so much.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one's pretty good too. I feel like most people like the second one more. But I don't know how you felt about it. What did you think?
I loved both of these movies. Like, the second one was fun. And I think I liked the first one a little bit more, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the jokes were a little bit more impactful. I think Gomez and Morticia are just so into each other in that first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like, I love the bizarreness of like, they have that moment where they're trying to throw a family dance, a family ball. And so you see all the weirdos of the Addams Family, like just beyond the main family. You see like Lumpy Addams. And Lumpy Addams is like this weird guy with a red eraser head type hairstyle. And he's dancing with Wednesday, who's like half his size.
Yeah.
And he's just like lifting her arms really high as they dance. It's like, oh my god.
That's me and Clement dancing at the wedding, by the way.
Pretty much.
Some of you were commenting like, oh my god, Clement's so tall. I'm like, yes, he's tall, but I'm also 5'2" and very short.
I'm much taller than Caro.
Yes, he is. I think I only go up to, like, your chest.
I love Cousin It.
Mm-hmm.
Cousin It is just a ball of hair. He's just nothing but hair. And for some reason, whenever he talks, he just goes like... And apparently, everyone could understand him.
I would love to have a Cousin It.
But it's better in Addams Family Values because the girl that he hooked up with in the first movie gets pregnant. And then in the second one, they have a baby It.
Yeah.
Who's also just a bundle of hair. But with a pacifier on its mouth. So good. I love the plot of the second one being that like Wednesday and Pugsley are jealous of the new baby and they keep trying to kill it.
Oh, no. They try to put him through like the guillotine at one point.
They try to chop his head off with a guillotine, but the baby catches it. They tried dropping it from the roof. They go to the roof of their mansion and they just like fucking they ask the question, what will bounce higher, this cannonball or the baby? Only one way to find out.
Yeah.
Again, it's like that macabre humor, that like really dark, fucked up sense of humor is why I love the Addams Family, because it's like...
Same.
As a kid, I'm just like, I am watching a movie in which they purposefully dropped a baby off a building to see if it would bounce higher than a cannonball. That's so fucked up and that's so ridiculous, but I love it.
Yep. Too bad we couldn't dance to the mamushka at Sabrina and Elliot's wedding.
Oh, the mamushka.
Yeah.
Such a brilliant dance sequence. God, that scene's great.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's important to note that Gomez is played by Raul Julia, an actor who was taken from us far too soon. He died in the 90s. His last film was Street Fighter because he played M. Bison in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And if you've even seen clips of Bison in Street Fighter, you must know that Raul Julia was one of the most charismatic actors that's ever lived. He just has so much charisma to him, and he just like pours all of that charisma into Gomez. And God, he should have lived much longer than he did.
I didn't realize he died in like the 90s. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Street Fighter, he had cancer when he did Street Fighter.
Gosh.
Just absolute shame. He was a fucking star. He was like, You gotta track down Raul Julia movies because he was so good in every movie he was in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if I had to recommend 90s movies to people, The Addams Family 1 and 2 are really, really great. And
yeah.
God, I watched them a million times when I was a kid. I never got tired of that.
You show me very good movies.
Thank you. I have good taste. The other movies I brought over, but we never had time to watch because we were too busy doing all the other things. I was going to show you Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is unbelievable. And I was also going to show you The Fifth Element, which has Bruce Willis, Mila Jovovich, and Chris Tucker in the greatest role he's ever had.
Gosh, now I really gotta watch The Fifth Element, because Chris Tucker in the best role that he's ever been in got me hyped. And I was gonna show, I want to show Clement, like, old Disney Channel sitcoms, because that's what I grew up with and I have Disney Plus. And I think he would appreciate the cheesiness and the wackiness of Disney sitcoms, you know.
Oh boy. This is actually going to come into a later topic, which we'll cover in the next C Squared, but which we're going to upload pretty quickly because we're actually going to do 2 C Squareds back to back right now. But we figured we'd cut the wedding and the trip portion in one half and then make the next topic the second half. So, yeah. I guess the only thing left to talk about with the trip would be Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah. We did see Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
We saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Like, I saw it the Wednesday before it came out because I'm sorry that you live in middle of nowhere Canada, but in the United States at least, some theaters were actually doing early access screenings on Wednesday. And if you went to one of the early access screenings, you could get a poster and, like, an IDW comic, which was really cool. And my local movie theater was showing Sonic the Hedgehog 2, so I figured that I would go with some friends and watch it. And I loved it. Oh my gosh. So much better than the first film, I think.
Yeah, it's much better than the first one. I don't know if I ever really gave my full-on thoughts on the first movie. I think we briefly talked about it in the Sonic Colors Brain Scratch playthrough, but
yeah,
we didn't talk very extensively. I thought the first one was fine. You know, I thought it was like a pretty adorable kids movie. I thought that its energy was in the right place, but it wasn't like one of the greatest video game movies I'd ever seen or anything. It wasn't like I was desperate to, I gotta rewatch Sonic 1. I gotta rewatch Sonic. It's the best movie I've ever seen. I liked it. I liked it for what it was. It could have been so much worse.
Yeah, I think that's the commonality with everyone. Like, I enjoyed it a lot, and I was just really grateful that it wasn't like a train wreck.
Yeah. Like, I love Jim Carrey in the role. There were a lot of good jokes. I thought Sonic was very lovable in the first movie. And yeah, again, it just comes down to, like, this could have been Transformers level bad. Where when I think of, like, a children's property that was adapted for the big screen, I did not like most of the Transformers movies. I thought the first one was fine, but, like, when you get to Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon and all that,
Revenge of the Fallen is ass.
Oh, that is one of the worst movies ever
ass. Made. Oh my gosh.
One of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's just awful.
At least the first Transformers was fine enough. I liked it enough. But, like, the second movie was so bad. Oh my gosh.
You got a fucking Transformers with a cock and balls at one point. It's also like, incredibly racist, that movie.
Yeah.
Like they have like, again, it's like Skids and Mudflap, I think, were the racist bots who were like saying like jive Ebonics and stuff. Like, you're just a pussy ass bitch, you know?
God, no, you're bringing that back. No. Gosh.
It's not good.
Yeah, and then Dark of the Moon was also, I liked it more than Revenge of the Fallen, but Dark of the Moon is still pretty bad. And then I didn't watch anything beyond that because I was just done. I'm done.
I heard Bumblebee was good, but
yeah,
I've yet to see it. The other thing was, I think of like other like children's adaptations of stuff, and I think like I also didn't really love like the new Turtles movies. For one thing, I never liked the look of the new Turtles. Like, they just looked so grotesquely weird and realistic
Yeah.
that it was distracting, and I couldn't stand looking at them.
You're talking about Michael Bay TMNT.
Well, he produced it. He didn't direct it, but he produced it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just, even when they were first revealed, I was just like, oh God, like they're just the most unappealing version of the Turtles I've ever seen.
But Seamus is in the second one. How could you hate Seamus?
Well, you know, I thought it was inspired casting, putting Will Arnett in the role of Vern. I thought that was good casting, but you know. Even the story, very hokey. It was like Shredder was kind of like a B villain in the first movie, and they make everything super connected. Where like April O'Neil, the turtles used to be her pets, but then they got into the ooze in the lab and blah 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 blah. You know.
You know the deal.
I just didn't care for those movies. The 1990 Turtles movie is the best Turtles movie by a far margin.
This isn't the movie, but it popped into my mind. Have you seen the 2003 TMNT?
Yes.
I love that show. I still haven't gotten around to like the Nickelodeon ones, and I hear good things about it. It's just I haven't gotten to it yet.
I've never been a super diehard Turtles fan, so it's like I'm not really keeping track of all these shows. I think there've been a lot at this point. But I will stand by the fact that I love the 1990 movie. I think it's amazing. Mm-hmm. And Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo is one of the greatest beat-em-up games ever made.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even care if you're a Turtles fan. Whether you're a Turtles fan or not, you need to play Turtles 4, Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo. That game is perfect. I love that game.
It's so much fun. So much fun.
Sorry, we got sidetracked. The point is, Sonic could have been so much worse.
Yes.
I thought the characterization was fun. I liked what they did with the character. I thought Robotnik was fun. And yeah, it was fine for what it was. But the thing I felt leaving the theater when they teased that Tails was going to be in the sequel and that Robotnik was finally going to look like Robotnik. He was going to be bald and have the big mustache and stuff. And he was in Mushroom Hill Zone, it looked like. I just remember thinking as I was leaving the first movie, like, that second movie has so much potential to be so much better.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And it was. I thought the second movie was a lot better than the first one. I want to rewatch the second one. I can't wait for it to come to Blu-ray so I can buy it and watch it over and over again, which I own the first one on Blu-ray. I didn't watch it that much. You know, it's fine. I like it.
Yeah.
But the second one, I want to rewatch the second one.
And yes, I can say that, like, because when I watched it with Clement, it was my first rewatch, and I was like, yes, this is so much better than the first movie. They've improved a lot on so many things, and they, like, upscaled a lot of the threats and the plot that they're dealing with.
We've been compared to the Transformers. Another reason those Transformers movies sucked so much is that, like, you spend too much time with the humans.
Yeah.
Like, you want to see Optimus Prime and Megatron, and instead we got to keep following fucking Shia LaBeouf and, like, all these other human characters that we just don't care about. Whereas Sonic 2...
You don't want to follow around Megan Fox.
Well, I mean, you know, I was a horny male back then, but I guess I still am. But even then, I almost feel bad for Megan Fox because she's so objectified in those fucking movies. It's just kind of shameful. It's just kind of embarrassing in hindsight.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's like Sonic 2, you know, they put Tom and like Tom Wachowski, Donut Lord, in a much smaller role, and now we spend a lot more time with Sonic and Tails, with Robotnik, with Knuckles, who is introduced into this movie, and Knuckles was handled perfectly.
Yes, he was.
That's exactly what I wanted Knuckles to be.
Idris Elba made Knuckles work. Like, I already knew, like, when the casting announcement came out with Idris and Knuckles, and I'm like, okay, this could definitely work. Oh my god, it exceeded my expectations. Knuckles is amazing in this movie. He's fantastic. Mm-hmm. I loved Knuckles so much because he could perfectly, and this is how Knuckles should be, by the way, like, he could perfectly balance different aspects of his character. Like, yes, he is tough, he's strong, he can get the job done when he needs to, but he's also loyal, very loyal, and too loyal to the front where it could, you know, kind of get him into messy situations, which is why you see him, like, you know, trust Robotnik and other people at first, but then that ends up biting him, you know?
Yeah. Like, I like that they did establish that, like, Knuckles is from a warrior tribe, and he has no idea of any of Earth's customs, and he doesn't really know how things work outside of his own village and whatnot. And so, anytime he's, like, dumb about things, like the computers, like, ... It doesn't come from a place of stupidity, just he doesn't understand, he just doesn't know about this world and doesn't know what baseball is. Like, I don't think it presents Knuckles as being an idiot because he doesn't know what the base of the ball is, you know? Like, he was just naive, but also dead set in his way of, like, getting revenge for what the Long Claw tribe did to the Echidna tribe, because apparently they defeated each other out, and they both lost everything that day, both he and Sonic.
Yep.
And he's still, like, intimidating and intense when he needs to be. Like, he's competent. When Sonic just makes a snowboard out of one of Eggman's drones, Knuckles does the same thing instantly, just, like, punches it, makes a snowboard out of it, and just chases after him. He took Sonic on in fights, and he handled himself pretty well, you know?
Yeah.
And I also like the little foreshadowing of, like, him. I don't know how spoilerific we're going to get with this, but let's say if he's like the video games and he's going to turn into a good guy eventually, right? I liked these little moments where he's with Robotnik and Agent Stone, and Robotnik decides to leave Agent Stone behind, and it's kind of done in a fakish way where he's just pretending that he's ditching Agent Stone because really he's his lackey and he's still going to stand by him. But Knuckles asks why they're not taking the goat milker.
Yeah.
And Robotnik just says, like, we don't need him. I'm just getting rid of the guy. And Knuckles, like, thinks that's kind of dishonorable. And he's just like, you're just going to leave your friend behind? And he's like, hey, this is how I roll. You know? But, like, you get these little nuggets of how Knuckles doesn't approve of everything Robotnik does, and he would rather do things honorably. He would rather he and Sonic have a warrior's battle and not have cheats or underhanded tricks to it, which I think that works. That is what Knuckles should be, especially if he's supposed to be a hero like Sonic and Tails, as we know in the games. And I just think he was written perfectly. And Tails was cute, too. Tails was really cute.
Tails is so adorable. He has so many cute moments in this movie. You can tell he's, like, definitely still, like, the brains of everything, and he loves following Sonic around.
But I think it's fun that Sonic now has a friend of his own kind, you know? Because, like, Tom Wachowski is not fast. He's not athletic like Sonic is. Like, I thought it was cool that they made Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles all super fast in the movie. So it's not just Sonic who's really fast.
Yeah.
Like, there are plenty of scenes where you just see, like, red, yellow, and blue trails because they're boosting and zipping all over the place really, really quickly. So that gives power to Tails and doesn't make him just this sidekick, like...
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean sidekick, but I mean, like, a hanger-on. Like, just a guy who follows him around and does nothing. Which I think you could critique about the video games sometimes, is that Tails always feels like he has nothing to do other than just, like, solve things with his computer. But in this one, I feel Tails, you know, he's flying the plane. He has these gadgets which help him save the day. He can zip around as quickly as Sonic, like... he's pretty capable. I like it. Colleen O'Shaughnessy did an amazing job, as always.
She did. She was incredible here.
And even though there wasn't a lot of human interaction with Donut Lord, he does go off to Hawaii for a good chunk of the movie. But every time they did cut back to him, I did think that was pretty funny. I got a big kick out of the the fiance.
Yeah.
Like they're going to the sister's wedding, and the fiance's got like this entourage of bros with him, and there's this one part where they're just kind of like exchanging conversation and just like, you know, talk about how your sister really hates you, man. She really hates you. And it's like, yeah, I know. But then like they cut to like the bros behind him, and they're like fucking doing handstand push-ups and shit. Like, they're the most masculine broy bros you've ever seen. Got a big chuckle out of me when I was watching the theater. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
I thought the human interactions when we got them were much better than like the previous movie. It sounds like they really knew how to strike the balance between like the human characters and Sonic.
I like that they played with the idea that just because Sonic has all this power and he can zip around and stuff, that doesn't mean he's using those powers responsibly. I guess you could say it's kind of like Spider-Man, I suppose, but
yeah.
The first scene is literally he's trying to be Batman. Like they literally say he's being Batman. And he's stopping a whole bunch of bank robbers who just robbed this money, and the thing is he's not doing a great job at maintaining collateral damage.
Yeah.
Like he's letting bombs go off. He's like running into stuff. He almost runs into a woman on the street.
Yeah.
And so he thinks he did a great job, but he's just destroyed an entire city block. And of course, when something bad happens to Tails at some point in the movie, Sonic has to kind of realize that like he's got to be better at this. He can't just like be careless and reckless, which is what you would expect a Sonic the Hedgehog to be. It's what we always characterize him as, being reckless and brash, and he's kind of got to step up and do the right thing, which leads to a fantastic moment between him and Knuckles when they get to the labyrinth zone. I think there's a fantastic moment involving the water and the pillar.
That was a great scene.
Loved that moment a lot. Mm-hmm. Another thing I loved about the movie was the big final battle.
Yes.
I think the final battle was everything I wanted from a Sonic movie. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
It wasn't the humans saving the day. It wasn't the humans pulling all the work. It was just Sonic and his friends doing their speedy thing while taking on a big giant Eggman robot. You know?
Yeah. That was such a great scene. And like when I saw it the first time, my audience like clapped.
Oh yeah?
Because they're like, fuck yeah, it's Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. That's what we came here for. That's what we bought the ticket for. Yes.
I just love Jim Carrey also in that whole entire final scene. Because like, he's got like this new godlike power because he's got the Master Emerald. And he's got like this weird reverb effect on everything he says when he's talking and stuff.
Yeah, that was really cool.
But the way he's piloting the Eggman robot is that he's like, whatever he's doing is what the robot is mimicking. So he's pretending to run. He's pretending to like swing his arms. He's doing everything that the robot's doing. And it gets to the point where he starts chasing Sonic, but then he starts like getting winded and he actually gets tired out from chasing Sonic because he can't catch Sonic, obviously.
Yeah, he's too fast.
So you just see the robot with his arms on his knees, just like, whew, like taking a breather, like, oh God. Good shit.
Really good.
I think it was a longer movie than the first one, but it didn't feel that long.
It was about like maybe 20 minutes longer than the first one.
But it went by quick. Like I was fine.
It did.
I could have had another 20 minutes of that movie. I didn't care. I was having fun. That was a really good movie.
So the verdict is that you love it.
I really liked Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It was a better movie than the first. It's a different continuity of Sonic, but it definitely feels like Sonic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles were handled perfectly. Robotnik, Jim Carrey's having a lot of fun. And if he does retire from acting, like he alluded he might, I hope Robotnik gets a decent replacement for the third movie. We already know one villain who's going to be in it, which I won't spoil. Great post-credits scene.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But, yeah, I just thought it was fun. I thought it was, like, good. And it seems like the people making these movies are listening to Sonic fans, and they're listening to what Sonic fans want from a Sonic movie. And it's not perfect. There's some jokes that don't work all the time. It's not like the greatest video game movie I've ever seen or anything, but I think it's in a better place than the Super Mario Brothers movie. I think it's in a better place than a lot of video game movies. I think when you think of Sonic the Hedgehog and what you think of what you would want to see in a Sonic movie, I think Sonic the Hedgehog 2 nails it. Like, to me, that is what a Sonic movie should be. It doesn't have to be close to the game material. It can do its own thing, but that is Sonic to me.
So y'all just remember next spring when we're in theaters watching the Mario movie, when you see Mario floss dancing and, I don't know, twerking with the minions because elimination, then
when Chris Pratt is talking and going, Mamma Mia.
Oh god. I will say that, like, so shout out to one of our friends, Tanner, for this, but I wish movie theaters in the US would do this. So Tanner's theater, when he went to see Sonic 2, it was split into different viewing rooms. So one room was for kids only and their families, and then the other room was for adult fans.
Oh yeah.
I kind of wish that was like a thing. It's really smart, because obviously you have like kids watching Sonic, because that's the demographic Sonic appeals to. Sonic appeals to kids and families. But then you also have the adult fans who grew up with, like, the Genesis and the Dreamcast, and we're getting up to GameCube. Oh, God. Oh, I feel old. But you have those adult fans that have seen Sonic and have played Sonic forever.
Yeah.
And they're still big fans. So I feel like, I don't know, take notes, America.
You know what? Another note America should take that I have been saying a whole bunch?
Yeah.
Okay, so because I'm Canadian, I'm very used to Canadian currency. I'm very used to Canadian money. And the thing is, we have loonies and toonies. A loonie is a $1 coin, and a toonie is a $2 coin. And so anytime you get change back whenever you're buying things, you get a lot of loonies and toonies, and they're light, they're small, they fit in your pocket nicely. They're just change. It feels like a quarter or something. It's great. But when I was in America, every time I was buying food, every time I was buying tickets, every time I was buying anything, I kept getting $1 bills. And Canada doesn't have $1 bills. We just have the loonie and we have the toonies. So my wallet and my pants were just filled with $1 bills. And it just took up space. And it got to the point where, like, we would go out to a ramen shop and I wanted to tip them just so I could get rid of the ones that were taking up space in my pockets. I heard on Twitter you apparently do have $1 coins.
We do, but it is very used sparingly. It's rare.
I mean, the point is, I didn't get a $1 coin when I was down there. I never got it in change. All I got were $1 bills that... And American money is weird. It's like it gets crumpled up so much more than Canadian money.
Now you know where the stereotype comes from. You see crumpled American bills, and you see TV shows and movies where like, oh, my money's all crumpled. Yeah, that's because the material used to make American money is, like, cheap. Very cheap.
Yeah. It's like it gets crumpled so easily, and then you're just constantly unfolding all the cash. Whereas with Canadian money, it's this weird material where it gets into folds, but it never gets, like, super crumpled because it never allows itself to be that way.
Yeah.
Which basically I'm saying America sucks.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean it does, but
I want it in this podcast that I say the United States of America sucks.
But I'm in the United States of America.
I'm kidding. Please don't yell at me. Please.
I mean, I was going to say I'm American. I think your money is so much better than the States.
Mm-hmm.
I love how clean it feels, and I love how it kind of smells like syrup.
You think it smells like syrup?
It kind of does.
Oh boy. That's not a good stereotype for us.
What?
All our things smell like syrup? Oh no.
You don't smell like syrup.
Well, thank you. I'd hope not. What do I smell like, Kara? What do I smell like?
You smell nice?
Okay.
You smell like Clement?
I smell like Clement. Well, that's a compliment, I guess. But yeah, Caro, that was our wedding week. That was my trip to America. We met up again, and lots of fun was had. Lots of movies seen. Lots of food eaten. Lots of dancing. Busted a move. If that's a term. I'm making it a term right now.
So much fun was had. Like, I don't think I've seen Clement since, like, August of last year. And hopefully I see him again very soon, because he is a wonderful person.
Aw.
And, yeah. And he's awesome.
Aw, shucks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Caro. You're not too bad yourself.
Aw.
But, yeah, it was a lot of good stuff. And originally we were going to talk about a different topic for this podcast, but we're going to save it for the next video. I don't know if we're going to record it right away, or maybe we'll do it tomorrow or something, because we talked a lot longer than I thought we were going to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know recently you have been very much invested in a 90s sitcom that I've been a fan of for a very, very long time, that has just made its way to Netflix, and you finally got to experience all of it. And I wanted to talk about it for a full podcast, an entire podcast dedicated to just talking about this TV show. So come back very soon, in a week or so, because we are going to talk about Seinfeld.
Yo. Yes, we are. I've got a lot of things to say that are not grievances, so don't worry. This ain't Festivus.
I got a lot of grievances. So I guess all I have to say is, I am the Great Clement.
And I am Caro.
And we shall see you next time.